Hello, dear friends, my dear folks. Welcome to the show, Jack Chow on the East-West Show with G&E TV. As everybody knows, the news has it, the TV has it, everything has it. The Chinese American Film Festival, the 11th annual Chinese American Film Festival, to be more precise, is scheduled to be on November the 1st. And throughout November, there's going to be a whole month of activities, including the welcome banquet, award presentation, opening ceremony, red carpet, and summit talks, summit discussion, and also screenings. The screen scheduled for about 250 films already, right? So it's going to last the whole month. And the location will be Hollywood, Los Angeles, all the way to San Francisco. All right. Today, in talking about the film festival, in talking about creations, talking about the whole industry as versus life, I have my good friend, a friend that we go back 20, 25 years easy, Mr. Scott Womath, an attorney at law as a profession, and screenwriter as education, and producer as his latest involvement with the film festival. To Scott, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Jack. I'm happy to be here again.
All right.
Always great to talk with you.
All right.
We have great philosophical discussion as well.
Yeah, very good. Very much so. Very much so. And last time, if you recall, he was here talking about legal issues. And of course, by that, we'll stick to him because he is the encyclopedia kind of friend that you want to turn yourself to every time you have legal problems, big as, well, criminal defense, small as you have a auntie or brother, whoever wants to immigrate to the United States, in between anything, right, including a bicycle accident or something. I don't know.
That's correct.
I don't know.
Yes.
For that part, we'll leave it alone a little bit. Let's talk about your involvement with this very typical film that you can see called An Inconvenient Stay. Oh,
Yeah,
Inconvenient Stay.
Inconvenient
No,
Stay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
An Inconvenient Stay.
Correct.
So, what kind of film it is, please? Can you?
Yeah, let me tell you about it. I got involved in it through a friend, a very, very brilliant young director by the name of Wen Ren.
Wen Ren.
Yes.
任文. Right.
That's correct.
Yeah, 任文, yes.
A young director with just a wonderful understanding, having grown up of Chinese raised parents, China-raised parents.
I see.
But growing up in the U.S., so he has this perspective of, China, the United States, and the problems that those who live here in the United States from China may have, those who grow up in China want to come to the U.S. He understands this conflict that is actually as old as our country, and that is, do I stay or do I go? Do I stay in China or do I go to the United States? Do I stay in the United States? Do I go back to China?
Or is it convenient this way or is it convenient that way?
Exactly. The pull of home, right?
Yeah,
Mother and father
right.
in China.
You're right.
The pull to go home, the pull to stay in the United States. So, this is a conflict, and I've been thinking about it. As I said, this is something that in our country's history has always been there, whether you're talking European, later Asian, just the conflicts and the tearing apart sometimes of families.
You are right. You are right.
It's something that those of us that grew up in the United States, we never had to face this kind of issue. We don't realize, we don't understand. It's hard to empathize to really get the full just understanding of what someone.
But your profession gives you a very good handle to it, to exactly feel by talking, by handling your client's case,
Yes.
by talking to them, by, of course, your own involvement
Yes.
with Chinese Americans'
Well,
life.
I was lucky, you know, some 34 years ago, going to law school and having a roommate who was Chinese. Had grown up in Taiwan and came to go to law school in the United States.
I see.
And you know, I saw firsthand how he you know, had this whole different culture and family back home, but they were now raising their own family in the United States. And then I went to live in China, as you know, in the 80s.
Yeah, you were teaching, yes, yes.
I was teaching and living in China. Before that, I lived in Korea, you know. So I saw, I've been very lucky to see how this whole immigration issue impacts families personally. And very, very
in other words,
difficult.
your education, your profession, and your past experiences had built up with a huge background of touching the Asian culture, tradition, people, and then that has a foundation. With that foundation, you bring that into the American concept.
Yes.
So the two collides somehow.
Yeah.
And well, with sparkles.
Right.
That makes this film. Am I right? I'm
That's
trying
correct.
to follow your route path.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, as you know, I was married to. My wife is from Beijing.
I know her.
And my children, you know, half Chinese.
Yes,
so, you know, I would go back to China, and I would see my in-laws. I would see extended family. You know, and it was. I feel I'm very, very lucky to have been able to experience in a way very few people can or had. Going to China for 30-some years, you know.
There's one thing before I wrap up this segment, though, I would like to check with you. People always say to me that those folks like you yourself might have two visions. Now, one of tilts to the Eastern culture, one tilts the American culture, and the two visions together offers you kind of like these are 2Gs, 2Ds or 3D, if not 3D, a vision. Instead of a one straight eternal vision, you're simply thinking about United States, you were born here, raised here, know nothing about elsewhere.
That's right.
Am I right?
Yeah, I think I'm lucky to have I think a broader perspective. And even now I was I went back to China last month and, you know, I could see the changes, but I can track and follow how people are thinking and feeling about things. And I'm very lucky to have that.
Very good. Yes. All right, my dear audiences, I feel excited already to see the film. I know Mr. Scott Wormuth for lots of years, and this is the first time for me to see a film that he co-produced with a director, Mr. Ran Wong. I believe that you will like it. Today we're not only talking about the film itself, I kind of use that as a lead line to get into his mindset, right? So, dear audience, let's take a very short moment out. We will be back right away.